Hi, welcome to our Wellness Summit online. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Michelle Ray Sobey. I'm the founder of Edge Yoga School. And one of the things that I love to do is collaborate with other folks in the mindful fields to help share our common message of how you can help live your best life through healthier habits and healthier practices. This is not meant to replace anything that your doctors may seem to do. So imagine a little scroll of legalese come across the screen here talking about that. Talk to your doctor first on anything before you begin anything, and so on. Anyway, but what we want to do is share with you some things that have worked with us and help educate you in general. And so my topic for today is going to be how pranayama can help you sleep. And for those of you that don't know, I have always had a tough relationship with sleep through the years. I mean, even back to junior high school, I would sit and fret in the middle of the night. I gotta get up tomorrow, I have exams, and I couldn't fall asleep, and I just couldn't shut the monkeys in my mind off. They just went and they went. Anyway, so I eventually sought out a professional sleep center who did some tests and things like that and ruled out anything happening in the background. And they basically said that it's your relationship with sleep, and they gave me some suggestions. And I'm going to share some of those suggestions with you, along with some pranayama techniques to hopefully help you get into slumber by the end of the night. So the first thing is we need to be able to succumb to sleep. So the very nature of worrying about not getting a good night's sleep or not being rested tomorrow can keep us up all night long. And I remember back in the day, the sunrise would come at like 5 and I'd be in near tears. I'd been up all night, could not fall asleep. And the concern of that, the worry and the fret itself will keep you up. So this is where I found for me, pranayama was a really effective tool to get some sleep. So just before bed, about 2 hours before bed, you want to shut off any blue light. Phones, computers, Kindles, any blue light. Shut it off, power it down, put it in the other room until you get used to it. For a little while, it took me a couple of months. I had to leave it in the other room. And just no more blue light. Maybe so if you plan a 10 o'clock bedtime, then maybe around 8 o'clock, we power down. This itself is just healthy for all sorts of reasons. I'll let you Google those reasons and you'll get pages upon pages of reasons to power down from time to time, right? And we do know that. So while the internet is a lovely tool, it also can be a burden. So we want to power down a couple hours before sleep and maybe do something that is restful. Like in my case, I'll do like a slow hatha yoga practice, something very, very zen-like, nothing athletic to get my heart rate up. We don't want to exercise just before bed, even if it's yoga. Or I might just take a comfortable cross-legged seat and drink some chamomile tea, something along those lines. Let the body know, hey, good news, we're moving towards the end of our night. We're going to be going to sleep soon. Getting used to these different habits send the signals to your neurological system, your brain, that, hey, we're moving into sleep time. We can start to rest and relax. So the process of falling asleep actually begins a couple hours before bedtime. So that's the helpful thing. Maybe if you enjoy reading or Sudoku, or if you're really having a hard time with sleeping, maybe some math to help put you to sleep, whatever it is, right? To find something relaxing to do and try and just dial down a little bit for about 2 hours before bed. Then what you want to do come bedtime is just bring your awareness to your breath. I like to put my hand on heart center and just feel my chest rise and fall as I breathe with ease. And just imagine if you could just close your eyes and softly inhale through the nose and let that out. We'll do this a couple of times, inhaling through the nose and release. And inhaling through the nose and release. Really softens things, really relaxes things. We do want to stick with some of the lighter breathing disciplines found in pranayama, and we offer trainings on that, and you can find out more about that. There's many resources about the different styles of pranayama. It's not that there's so much a right or wrong way of doing it, but this is our breath, this is our life force. And so things like breath retention or extreme breathing movements could onset trouble like asthma attacks, affect the blood pressure, things like that. So I myself really just go with presence and breath, or maybe even an ujjayi breath, which if you've been to a yoga class, it kind of sounds like Darth Vader breathing, and that's what that is. So, stay tuned for more on pranayama lessons. We'll be offering those for you. But right now at bedtime, just turn off all of the lights, get it nice and comfy, maybe go out and get yourself some high thread count sheets, something that's nice and squishy and comfy, and pamper yourself a little bit. I like my eye pillows with the lavender drops on the eye pillows. That works really well. And we need to be mindful not to get oils in my eyes, things like that. Disclaimers, right? It's almost comical. But we really want to set the stage to tell our neurological system, great news, folks, we're getting ready to go to sleep. Let's go on out of bed, right? So if you can give those shots a try, I think that might really help you. And after this, we'll have a number of other speakers come on and talk about some of their favorite things. Be sure to subscribe, scrolling ticker across the page, subscribe, so that you don't miss our upcoming episodes, because this is something that I'm really passionate about doing, is cross-pollinating the people that are in my field, bringing them over to this station, having them share their message with you, and hopefully bring us all a little close to health and wellness. So with that, namaste. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.
Hello, my name is Estella Rustan Streaker. I'm the owner of My Health Puzzle, and I am a digestive health specialist and a transformational nutrition coach. I am so glad to be able to speak to you today, and I want to tell you what I do. I help people figure out their health puzzles that have gone awry, and I help them restore their health when doctors have given up on them, or maybe they've given up on themselves. How many of you have ever had a bunch of symptoms that just don't have anything to do with any labs? Your labs are all normal, everything is coming out beautiful, and you're sitting there thinking, what's wrong with this picture? Why can't anybody find out what's wrong with me? I'm feeling sick, I'm feeling fatigued, I have these symptoms and these symptoms and these symptoms, and nothing is going right. And what I discovered over the last 30 years really is some really super interesting stuff. When labs are not doing well and they all come out right, and you're going, everything's fine, but I don't feel good, that's when I love it the best, because that means that you don't have disease. You're in fact in a state where you're just having dysfunction. You're having a lack of balance in your body between digestive systems and other systems in your body. And I can slip right in there and help you figure it out. So how My Health Puzzle began a lot of years ago. First of all, my journey started many, many years ago. I'm a first-generation American. I'm Hispanic, and my family was living in a small country in Central America called Nicaragua. And when we moved here when I was 4 years old, I began to experience a lot of physical issues. I had I had a lot of trouble with chest congestion, respiratory infections, sinus issues, headaches. I had issues with my tonsils. I had lots of infections, and that caused me a lot of trouble. I had my tonsils out. I dropped a lot of weight, and then I gained some weight, and I just had a lot of troubles. And part of it was due, I think, to the change in diet from Central America to come here in the United States. And so anyway, that started my process where I began to look to food to see what I can use to help me feel better. And I found if I ate more vegetables, I generally did a lot better than if I didn't, okay? Fast forward to when I got married and had my sons. My youngest son had some health issues that were pretty extreme. He had lymphatic stasis. He often would swell up with allergies. He had lots of bleeding eczema, and he had some phobias and issues with anxiety and loss of emotional control and things like that. So this was a really serious time for us, and it took 13 years to figure out what was really going on. And what I discovered as I walked through this health journey with him was I went from doctor to doctor to doctor and just really exploring what was going on with this kid. And I got little pieces of the puzzle to his health from all these different doctors. And hence the name My Health Puzzle, which I started 4 years ago in an attempt to help people understand what was going on with their health issues when they couldn't get answers from the regular medical doctors. Fast forward that a little bit further along, and later down the road, I began to have hormone health issues. And I found that the common ground between all of it was multi-pronged. It wasn't as simple as here, eat this and you'll get well. There was a few different pieces of this puzzle that had not been put together for me. In my case, I had gained more than 20 pounds. I had sores in my mouth all the time. My reproductive health was kind of a mess. Very irregular periods, kind of erratic in terms of the bleeding, and I was just a mess. And as I worked through the knowledge that I had gained over the time that I had spent working with my son and his health issues, and I did some research and I really dug into what I needed to change for my own personal health, I resolved my health issues, dropped the 20 pounds, and I feel better today than I have in a very, very long time. But what I discovered was it was definitely multi-pronged for both my son and I. It wasn't just food. One component was what we were putting in our mouth. Another component was how our digestive health was, what our guts were doing. And the third component was our mental, emotional health and how that played into the picture. And all three were together forming the base of our health and how good we felt or how bad we felt. So I'm here to share 3 principles with you of things to do to create excellent health. But before we do that, let's ask a few questions, okay? First of all, what is health? I mean, have you really given that some thought? What is health? All right. Well, I'll tell you that health is the normal condition of your body and the normal condition where all parts are working within normal range. Okay, now normals are really, really, really broad range here. So what's normal for one person may not be normal for another person, right? We are living in active, breathing things. So we're not like this car does this and this car does this and this car needs this and it's all the same. No, it's like we're each an individual work of art. And if there's anything you get from my talk today, I want you to come away with this. Your body is miraculous. It can heal itself. Sometimes we just need to get out of the way. Okay, so let's move on. And we know that we have normal conditions in our body within a normal range, and that's health. Our body parts are all working and functioning properly, and it's in a normal range. So what are symptoms would be the second question I would ask. So your body talks to you in symptoms, and we have 2 choices. We can either Band-Aid it shut and just say, shh, I don't want to hear this symptom, so you're having gastric reflux, shh, stop it, you're interfering. Or, oh, I have pain in my legs, oh, gotta get up beyond that, let's Band-Aid that because I have things to do in my life. Or my stomach feels sick every time I eat, well, maybe if we just ignore it, it'll go away. No, not really. Or how about my blood pressure is increasing. Okay, that happened to me 4 years ago when I really decided to buck up and walk my talk. My blood pressure was pre-hypertensive and I didn't know why. Well, I can tell you why now, because I was eating junk and I was depressed and I had been through some loss and my blood pressure went up. That's how my body responds. So your body talks to you in symptoms and you have a choice to push it off aside and say, shh, like the miscreant child that you want to just shove in a closet and shut up, stop talking. Or you can actually pay attention because your body is giving you clues. Your symptoms are whispers and sometimes they're yells of what systems in your body need attention. All right, so we need to pay attention to our symptoms. It's not your body being bad and trying to make you miserable. It's your body trying to talk to you. Hey, something's out of line here. You need to fix this. Okay, so let's get that straight. So here's the next question. What is a body? And I think this is a really super important one, okay? Because most of us think a body, sure, it's my physical self, my skin and my guts and my blood and my brain and my eyes and everything. That's my body. All right, well, my hypothesis to you is that it's not just your physical body. Your body's actually way bigger than that. Your body is part energy. In fact, I think mostly energy. Your body is your physical body, and your body is your mental, emotional state of mind. All right, so let's propose that that's the case, okay? Go with me on this. If you're feeling like this is just a bunch of bunk, that's okay, but just suspend your cynicism for just a minute and just go with me on it, okay? All right, so I'm going to talk about 3 different principles that you need to abide by in order to have great health. Okay, the first one is you must nourish yourself. If you're not nourishing yourself, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do to have great health. It just ain't going to happen. So what you put into your mouth or into your mind, it turns into energy in your body. That's what your body's supposed to do. In fact, every single nutrient has 3 purposes for the most part. The first one is to promote energy. It makes energy for your body to run. Second one is to grow and repair all the cells that are dying in order to make new cells so you keep living, okay? And the third one is to maintain homeostasis or balance. So we need balance between all of the cell walls, between the cell inside and the cell outside, between this organ and that organ, between this hormone and that hormone, between this system and that system. We need balance, okay? So again, your macronutrients are your proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are the 3 things we eat, hopefully on a daily basis. And your nutrient roles are to provide energy, to repair and grow your cells that are dying every day, and to create homeostasis and balance, okay? Well, of the 3 macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates, the one that does all 3 roles is protein. Now, you wouldn't expect that to be the case, and most people think that what they really need if their health is going downhill is just more vitamins and minerals. And that may be the case in some areas, like, for example, if you're vitamin C deficient, you're going to develop scurvy, you know? So there's things that you can do different and introduce vitamins and minerals, but the core rub of it is that you got to eat macronutrients to get those vitamins and minerals, right? They are best absorbed when you're eating your big food, you know, big food groups, not just isolated vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid, for example, okay? So one other thing I want to talk about with protein, well, actually, there's 2 other things I want to talk about with protein. When you eat protein in the form of any kind of protein that you might think to eat, when you eat protein, our bodies breaks down that protein, that's called digestion. It puts it back together, synthesizes all these protein molecules, or all the amino acids back into any of 25,000 different proteins in our bodies. That's a lot of proteins. Okay. And some of those proteins are called enzymes. And some of those proteins, those enzymes, are what are the workforce, are what help to take out all these little amino acids, combine them with the vitamin, mineral groups, and with all the other different, lipids and components of carbs that come together. The enzymes are the workforce. The enzymes and their proteins are the ones that do all the work, putting it all back together for us. So we have the lining of our intestinal wall. So we have the skin cells on our hand. So we have the cells that form the rods in our eyeballs, okay? So when you really think about it, I hope that I can impart into you how critically miraculous the human body is. It's just amazing. Our body does this on a daily basis, takes what we eat and we put into our mouths, and then breaks it apart into pieces, and then puts it all back together in what we need individually at any given moment of our extended lifespan. Our bodies are miraculous, and they want to heal. Sometimes we just need to get out of our own way. Okay, so we've got principle 1, you must nourish yourself. And I'm not even touching on the whole mind, mental, emotional body part of the picture, or the energetic body part. Those are 2 other facets of our entire total health that I don't have time to talk about today. Okay, I'm just zeroing in on the digestion and how our bodies work and process food, okay? So first principle, you must nourish yourself. Second principle, you must release what no longer serves you. When you are releasing waste products, that's called autophagy. Your body creates waste all the time. There are cells that are dying all the time, and your body has to do something with them. It has to pass them out, right? So how many of you are constipated? How many of you have irritable bowel syndrome? Can't say that word. How many of you experience rashes, difficulty? How many of you experience difficulty breathing? All those are parts of your elimination systems. Those are ways that your body eliminates, okay? And if you can't eliminate the waste products well, in essence, what you're doing is just poisoning yourself from the inside out. All right, so here's a really super quick, easy principle with regards to the types of food you eat and minimizing the amount of waste you're creating in your body. It is eat real food, stuff that's not processed, and more plants, stuff that is really good for you, and more protein. Okay, so that's my very simple formula here. So that eliminates the idea of, oh, do I need to go keto? Do I need to go paleo? Do I need to go vegetarian? Do I need to go vegan? Okay, you got to do what you feels good to your body. But the bottom line of all of them is they all eat real food, like the kind that's not in boxes, like the kind that was closest to when it walked, squawked, talked. Do they talk? Meowed, I don't know, whatever they would do, you know. No, you don't eat cats. Anyway, you get my point. Where it grew, where it swam, where it crawled, where it flew. Okay, get as close as it can be to that point and eat it then. But don't eat it if it comes out of a factory and is processed to the gills with chemicals. That stuff your body will not know how to eliminate. It just won't. We're not made to do that. And we create illness as a result. And then we're scratching our heads going, I wonder why I'm so sick. Okay, principle 1, you must nourish yourself. Principle 2, you must release what no longer serves you. Principle 3, you must move. Movement is life. And if there's one movement I would encourage everyone to do, and that is to deep breathe. Deep diaphragmatic breathing is one of the best movement you can do. Because when you deeply breathe, you're moving your lymphatic system, you're moving your muscles, you're moving your mind, you're moving energy through your body, because breath is energy as well as anything else. Okay, so did you know that you can move too much? So if you're moving too much, you could be harming your body and creating extra stress that your body can't tolerate. Right. An individual who is 90 years old will not need as much nourishment and as much movement as an individual who is in their teens, for example. You know, we have different requirements and different needs, and it's really important to not think that everybody is exactly the same. Okay, so principle number 1, you must nourish yourself. Principle number 2, you must release what no longer serves you. Principle number 3, you must move. So I want to leave you with one final quote. It's one of my favorite quotes because I really believe that some of us have forgotten how to do this and we ignore our bodies. And it is by poet Nayyirah Waheed. She wrote, I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. It took a long breath and replied, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Thanks for listening, and I hope that what I've shared has blessed you. And I really hope that I get to meet you someday, and we can work together to help you figure out that health puzzle you've been puzzling over for some time. Talk again.